Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean, this is In The Mixer, and welcome to our very first episode of our Hashtag United series. I have never been so excited to start a new save and a new series. I feel like I've been waiting for this one to begin for months and months and months and months. So it's a beautiful day here in Melbourne, it's a beautiful day for the channel as well in the game, and I am keen to get stuck straight in. Have a look at these kits on the wall back here, they look absolutely magnificent. I can't wait to see them more often in the game itself. But we've done enough hype videos for this series, so let's just get stuck straight in. And we are going to use the TheFMEditor, and we are going to use the TheFMEditor's level 10 database. We have gone through it before. There will be links to his Twitter and to this database in the description below. All the way down to level 10, you can see here, the game speed is going to absolutely suck, so I'm going to keep it small. If, for whatever reason, this series goes on a hiatus, it'll be because my laptop's exploded trying to process all these leagues. But the quicker we get up the divisions, the quicker we get to cut out some of those leagues, get back up towards the Premier League again, then we start introducing other countries into the series, trying to get those South American wonder kids, all that sort of stuff that makes a long-term save super fun. We're not going to worry about real fixtures. We're not going to add key staff. We're going to disable player attribute masking just because scouting is kind of a waste of time. I think you just scout someone till you know all their attributes anyway, so why do it in the first place? We're going to prevent use of the in-game editor, of course. We're going to start early in the 2018-2019 preseason, and let's get started. Alright, we are going to use this profile here, Sean in the Mixer. We've used it before. I've gone and put in the jacket colours for Hashtag United. Continental Pro license. I've always said, like, if I actually got a full-time job in football, I would get my pro license immediately. I already have my B license here in Australia, and Sunday League footballer, like, that's all I've ever been. Main focuses I'm working on are fitness and tactics, a couple of technical things in there. We'll bring in a goalkeeping keeper, a goalkeeping coach, sorry. I'm hoping that my assistant will be able to do the attacking and defending stuff, and motivating and man management are the main two I've focused on for the mental attributes. We're going to use that profile with my ugly looking face on it. We're going to take control of Hashtag United. You can see here we are predicted to finish first. They do have a relatively good reputation. Look at these fantastic kits here. We've already discussed Request a Kit and the phenomenal work he's done. They look amazing. We'll look at them a little bit further in a moment. But a semi-professional team. The owner loves the club. The owner in this game is Spencer Owen. I'll go through the full board structure in a moment, how I've created it. Coles Park Stadium in Tottenham in the north of London. 1,500 with 100 seats. There's pretty poor training facilities, pretty poor youth facilities, but that's to be expected at this level. And we are going to save this one as Hashtag United. So, great one to see Hashtag United hire in the Mixer as manager. Virtually unknown Australian manager, which is to be expected at the 10th division, or at the 10th level of English football. We've been given our welcome by Spencer Owen, the chairman. I'm on £475 a week. Only on the part-time contract at the moment, but hopefully a full-time one soon enough. Let's go through and talk to Spencer. Really looking forward to working with the club and achieving big things. I'd love to learn more about Hashtag United. Not worried about any philosophies at this point. We may introduce some later on if it means we can get a bit more money. I'll do the press conference, and I'm not going to worry about speaking to my staff just yet. I'll set those up in a moment. Alright, let's have a look at that background report here. As you can see here, club's only been founded since 2016, playing a collection of friendlies in and around London. They've done a couple of different trips to international teams like in the US. Every year they have the Wembley Cup. We haven't created that yet in the game. I might try and, fiddle around with a database later where perhaps we can get that in there. Eastern Counties League Division 1 South is where we're going to be starting. Most of the stuff we've already spoken about. But with no real competition history of note, Hashtag United are a club with a trophy cabinet waiting to be filled, and fingers crossed, if everything goes well here, I'll be the person that starts filling that trophy cabinet. For those of you that do follow the real life team, you know that Jay Devereaux is their current manager. I have made a couple of different tweaks to the database to keep him at the club as my assistant. He's put together a report here which we will go through in further depth and detail later on. But what I want to do first is go through the structure of the club. Spencer Owen, we've already met, had that meeting with him, is our chairman. Lewis Preston, who is the host for a lot of the videos that you see on the Hashtag United channel, I've made him a director, as well as Seb Carmichael Brown. They do have pictures, but I can't click into them because they're just non-playing staff at the moment. As mentioned, we've made Jay Devereaux our assistant manager. He's going to be absolutely fantastic for us. just so we can look at the relevant licenses. I've obviously got the pro license. He's got his B license. Neil Richmond, we have changed Neil Richmond. He's actually a playing assistant manager at the moment in the real world. I've turned him into just a coach. Basically, we have a whole bunch of players that I'm going to try and integrate. He's the wrong side of 30, really. I think he's probably only got 1 or 2 more seasons left at this sort of level. So I wanted to make him a coach to keep him around the club as well. And Steve Carmichael Brown, who I believe is Seb and Spencer's dad. In real life, he's going to be around as a physio, just decent stats and attributes for this level. And one of the other things I've done is if we look at Jade Devereaux here and go to his information, one of his favourite clubs is #United as backroom staff. I've done that for all of the staff that we have here, all the players in our first squad, which we'll go through in depth in a moment. Just because I want to try and keep as many of these people here as I can throughout the course of the season. If we look at the squad now, there's a good few people in here that are kind of getting up there in terms of ages, like 40, 35, 33, 34, and I want to keep them around. So hopefully that means that they'll want to stay at the club. It's one of the favourite clubs in their information and in their personal attributes, which means that they may want to hang around and be scouts, they may want to be under 18 coaches, under 23 coaches, something like that. But ideally, this group of 20 that we've put together will be at the club for the duration of the series in one capacity or another. I know that's a massive thing to say because we may play this series for 20 seasons or something like that. But if I can, I want to keep these originals, these #originals that is their current team, in the squad in this series as long as humanly possible. And I know it'll be tough because we'll go through their abilities and stuff in a moment, but at least in a non-playing capacity or in an under-23s capacity or as a reserve squad, something to that effect. So let's go and have a look at a few of them now. We're going to start with Jamie Jackson right here at the top. More commonly known as Jacko in the #United series and on that YouTube channel. 40 years old, he is still a quality player at this level, 3 stars. Decent attributes across the board. Can play as a sweepkeeper and a goalkeeper, which is going to be great for us. Andy Cade Watts, look at phenomenal player at the moment, 32 years old. You can see his little photo here. I did put together all these face packs myself. I have massive respect for DF11 and all those people that spend thousands and thousands of hours putting together face packs, because the 25 to 30 that I did, it took me freaking forever. So massive shout out and respect to them. And I've used a similar format for each of the #United faces that you're going to see throughout the course of this series. But Andy Cade Watts, a 4-star player. He's likely going to be our captain because he responded to me on Twitter one time. So that's more than enough to earn captaincy in this series. Kane Brougham, I believe he's actually on loan to #United in the real world, but I couldn't find him or what club he was at in the database. So we have created him. We have put him on a part-time contract. Still only 21. He's going to be a decent fullback. He's got decent potential ability as well for this level. He'll be fantastic, and he'll likely work for that position against Jamil Akeem, who can play at centre-back as well. But you can see here, decent fullback stats for this level. Basically anything in double figures at level 10 is really impressive. So 2.5 star at the moment, 3.5 if you're believing our assistant devs. Farai Singano, who can play at fullback as well, but will more likely line up at centre-back for us. Great physical attributes, decent mental stats as well for someone so young. Good tackling, alright heading and marking for this level. If we can get his passing up a bit, I think he's going to be fantastic. Only 22 years old, could definitely, if he can make the most of this 4-star potential ability, play for the next 2 or 3 years in the centre of defence. And in the real world, he's been one of the most impressive performers that I've seen. Marcus Stampier is the next one, still only 20. I love his photo. I think it's the favourite one that I've put in so far. We'll also play at centre-back. You can see here a lot of double-figure stats across the board. He's got really good potential ability as well, so one that we could potentially see playing for the next 5 or 6 years in this team. Alright, the next one, I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit, is Jack Harrison, who's the current #United captain in real life. You can see here, he is listed as being a central midfielder in the game, which is correct. He has played a lot there for the team in the real world. But I'm probably going to use him as a central defender, which is where he's currently playing for #United this last season. Decent all-round attributes, 4-star current ability, 4-star pension ability. He is 33 years old, so I would expect him to kind of be retiring in the next couple of years. But I think it's going to be super important to have a decent leader back there in that back line. The other big leader we'll have is Tom Williams. He's the only internationally capped player in the squad at the moment. One Cypriot cap to his name. Now, we haven't actually loaded Cyprus into this game, so I am a bit concerned that he's going to continue to get called up for international fixtures for them. But 37 years old, absolute quality. You can see here his current ability and his potential ability is fantastic. His playing history is fairly phenomenal. He's played in at Premier League and Championship clubs. You can see here, as far back as 2001, was making Championship appearances for Birmingham as a younger player. And then he's obviously kind of fallen back down through the leagues throughout the rest of his career. A random spell in Vanuatu, a random spell in the US as well. But if we can get another season, maybe 2 seasons out of him, he's going to be absolutely fantastic as a left fullback. His understudy will likely be Ross Gleed. Only 21 years old, left-sided player, decent enough fullback. He'll be more than solid at this level. Still only 21, so good room for improvement for him as well. We're looking to midfield, and we're going to have a look at Ricky Evans, who, interestingly enough, in the game, they say can play at centre-back. We're going to use him as central midfielder. But a quality player, has played in a couple of different clubs around this league and around this level. Not sure how much further he can travel upwards in the football pyramid, but he'll be more than fine for the next couple of seasons at least. He'll probably play alongside Lee Hersett, who, 21 years old, has really good potential ability. Game calls him a winger, but he won't be used as that for us. He'll play as a central midfielder. Good physical attributes, decent mental stats for a kid at 21. Decent passing. There's not a whole lot more you could want from a central midfield player. Also in central midfield is Issa Hussein, who is more likely known by his nickname, which we should put in now, Tekker's Guru. Decent player, good technical ability, loves a Cruyff turn. Unsure if he's really going to be playing all that much, but still a solid squad option for us to have. And we'll certainly get him a run out in cup games and things like that. Ahead of them at the number 10 position, we'll probably use Ryan Adams, who you can see here, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. He's listed as being a winger. I'm going to play him as an attacking midfielder in behind the striker. Really good physical stats, decent mental stats, decent technical attributes as well. And for a long time throughout #United's history, he's had a great partnership with our probably leading scorer this season, with our star striker, but I'll go through him in a moment. The other number 10 will likely be Tashan Richmond, who can really play anywhere across the front 4 positions, which is great. From the #United videos that I've seen, the games that I've watched, he looks like an actual quality player. I think he's very good, but in the game, only 3-star current ability, 3.5 potential. Some of his technical attributes are a little bit behind Ryan Adams, which is why he probably won't start ahead of him. But still, a great player. He'll be awesome to have on the bench because he can cover the right wing position, he can cover striker, he can cover a whole bunch of different stuff. On the left wing, we will likely have Harry Honesty. Now, I have adjusted Harry Honesty for whatever reason. The game thought that he was a right-footed striker. If anyone's watched the #United series, you'll know that he's an out-and-out left winger and he very much favours his left foot. So I have made that one slight adjustment so that he is playing in his position, but you can see decent current ability, decent potential ability, still only 23 years old, has played at higher levels with teams like East Thurrock, as high as the Vanarama South. So he's going to be fantastic for us this season. His understudy will likely be Theo Baker. Still only 22 himself. Similar to Tashan Richmond, he can play any of the front 4 positions, which is great. Just lacking a couple of different technical attributes here, but decent crossing, decent dribbling for this level. He'll be more than serviceable coming off the bench and as a squad player. On the right-hand side, we have probably one of the stars of the team in Charlie Morley, still only 21 years old. Again, can play anywhere across the front 4 positions. Decent current ability for this league, phenomenal potential ability. Really going to try and get him as many games as humanly possible. His understudy will likely be Aaron Couch, who I think is a really quality player. Decent delivery on both feet. Can play as a winger on either side and at the 10 if required. Good physicals, which is good to see. and he'll give us really important depth throughout the course of a long season. I did mention a superstar striker a moment ago, and it is likely going to be Dan Brown. You can see here, 34 years old, but 4.5 star current ability, 4.5 star potential ability, 13 heading, 13 finishing, decent physical stats here. His off-the-ball movement is fantastic. We're going to play him as a poacher because they just tear these sort of leagues apart. But a fantastic player. I really do hope we can kind of keep him from retiring for at least a couple of seasons. And his understudy will likely be Daniel Agee, who did come through the #United Academy. He's also a poacher, decent enough finishing, decent enough physical stats as well. Not the strongest player, but that's absolutely fine. And even though it only says 2 stars, I think a lot of the things you see here are getting close towards double figures. So he'll be a great player to have as well. But like I mentioned, this is our first 20 players. There are a couple of extras players that are floating around the club in real life, but this is the 20 I've gone with because they're the ones that I've seen in the most games throughout the course of the season. Throughout the course of the real life season and series on #United's channel. So this 20, I hope we can keep them as long as humanly possible. I hope they're consistently a part of the series and we can keep climbing the leagues while having these guys on board because it would be absolutely fantastic. Alright, the best thing to do now is to go and have a look at the tactic that I've put together as well. It's pretty much a 4-2-3-1, which is what # are playing a lot at the moment. Really well structured, really well balanced, which is absolutely perfect for lower league football and lower league management. And the best advice I could ever give anyone if you're doing a level 10 series or even a level 22 series when that one eventually comes out, just keep football simple. The more complicated you make this, the harder a team is going to have. So we are playing a fluid counter-attacking style. I think that suits the squad really well. I think it suits the formation really well, and for lower league, it's going to be fantastic for us. I have changed it from a cautious mentality to positive, but you can see here, in possession, shorter passing, run at defense, high tempo, fairly narrow, and then in transition, distribute quickly, counter and counter press, and out of possession, defend narrower, lower defensive line, a lower liner engagement, be more urgent and get stuck in. So we just want to trick teams into coming forward and attacking us and then win the ball back and spring against them. Given the quality and the pace of the likes of Charlie Morley, Harry Honesty, Dan Brown's off-the-ball movement that we already saw, we'll tear teams apart on the counter-attack, particularly for the next couple of seasons until we get towards more semi-professional teams. A goalkeeper just set to defend duty, 2 central defenders just set to defend, 2 supporting fullbacks, 2 central midfielders set to defend. Basically, if you're talking about Sunday League football, you always want to defend that square in between the 18-yard box and the goal itself. By having 4 players in that area set to defend, we should always have that area locked down. We should never have man advantages or counter-attacks against us. We should never have individual errors because there's coverage from a lot of different stuff. So that is the idea behind that. Ahead of them, we have an attacking midfielder on support, likely going to be Ryan Adams or Taché Richmond. We may adjust that to be an advanced playmaker as we pick up better players throughout the course of the series. And 2 wingers on attack with a poacher on attack up front. So very structured. Don't need to do too much in terms of individual instructions or anything like that. We're going to go out with a positive game plan. We're going to try and play at the best brand of football that we can. We do play on a synthetic pitch as well, which I think comes into it a little bit in terms of the wear and tear that you see on regular grass pitches at a lower league level. So hopefully our shorter passing game kind of suits that a little bit and we can be positive with that. As mentioned earlier, I am going to make Andy Cadewatts the captain of the club, given that he has responded to me on Twitter. So that's, I think, just a good lesson for any celebrities or anyone that's out there at the moment. If you want to be made captain in one of my series, then get in contact. And we'll go with Ricky Evans because he looks like the most suitable vice captain, given his leadership and teamwork that you can see listed here. Now, our preseason schedule, I have already kind of put together. I just want to play, if we look at the calendar here, I just want to play local teams. 1 game on a Wednesday, 1 game on a Sunday until we get up to the course of the season. As always, we're going to have 1 marquee friendly fixture against Tottenham under-18s. I couldn't get Tottenham or Tottenham under-23s to come and want to play us. We're not that high up in the pyramid for them to be willing to do that. But still, I think we'll get 1,000 people at Coles Park, which will be fantastic for us. Be a really good test to see how an elite level academy is producing players and where we're at up against them. And we will come back and actually watch that game in this episode. But rather than have you guys sit there and go through everything as we set up our scouting network and staff responsibilities and go through these friendly games, magic of editing, I am going to skip ahead now. And just like that, we are a month ahead. Let's have a look at how we've done across pre-season. As you can see here, pretty good results, all wins so far. We've just been playing local opposition up until today's game. We've just been playing local opposition up until today's game against Tottenham. We've only conceded 3 goals throughout that time. We've scored quite a few. Some of the performances have been really good. We've managed to get most of our players starting at some point. You may have noticed over here there are some injury concerns. Let's have a look at them now. And there's been a good few throughout pre-season. Ryan Adams picked up a knock. Harry Honesty picked up a knock. Dan Brown was actually out for a couple of days with a sore hamstring. Kane Braun is out for 3 to 6 weeks with sprained ankle ligaments. Tekka's Guru is the big one. He's going to be out 3 to 5 months with a hip injury, which sucks, but we'll stick by him. We'll hope it's 3 months and that he's back towards November or December. And Charlie Morley's working his way back from an injury. I can't remember what it was, but it was only like a 1 to 3 day type thing. So we're not going to risk him for this game. There's no real need to. Tasha and Richmond will come in on the right hand side, but we'll go through the full team now. You can see here our very sharp looking kit alongside Tottenham's kit. And the lineup we're going to go with is Andy Cade. Our captain, Andy Cade Watts in goals. Tom Williams at left back. Farai and Garner, which is a little bit different from what we said we were going to do. Initially what I've done is made Jamel Akeem our backup central defender and brought Singana out onto the pitch at the right fullback position. He does really well there. We played him there a couple of games when Kane Braun picked up his knock. And he was fantastic. So I'm going to try and continue getting that development through, which means I can also play Stamp and Singano in the same side, as well as Jack Harrison and Tom Williams. So a good balance of potential players and experienced players as well. Ricky Evans and Lee Hersett will hold in midfield. You can already see they're developing a decent bond together. Ryan Adams will play at the 10, Harry Olmsted on the left wing, Tashan Richmond on the right, and Dan Brown up top. Leaves us Jamie Jackson, Jamila Kim, Aaron Couch, Theo Baker, Daniel Adji, and Ross Gleed on the bench. The guys with positiveness their name are ones that have trained well. I always make sure that if someone's getting, highlighted in a training report, give them some praise, show them some love. Everyone just has been working on their individual role within the system. No real extra focuses. We're only part-time, so I just want them to focus on what they're doing in our tactic. We have been scouting a couple of people as well. Of course, the big man, Adebayo Akinfenwa. It's been forever since I've had him in a series. I would love to get him in this one. He's 36. But he doesn't really show any signs of slowing down. His contract is up at the end of the season. So maybe, if we get promoted, if he's willing to drop down to part-time football, we can try and bring him in. Worst case scenario, we look at him as a staff member when he eventually retires. He'd be a great strength coach. Scott Pollock, many of you may know if you do follow #United's channel, came through the #United Academy and is now playing in the Northampton under-18s. Has a couple of bench appearances without coming on yet for the Northampton first team in League 2 as well. Still on a youth contract there. It's another 2 years to go, but he'd be a great person to bring in. If he ever goes on loan, I'm going to inquire about it, especially with that Tekka's Guru injury that we've seen. And the other one is Manny Brown, who has been in and around the club quite a few times, both in some of the high-profile friendlies that they've played, and I think he did pre-season with them as well. You can see here, only 32 rated, only 1-star and 2-star potential. I don't think he's probably cut out for this level or on the level of the likes of Tashan Richmond, Ryan Adams, Charlie Morley, Harry Honesty. So we'll leave him there for the time being as an emergency option if we need to start picking some people up if injuries continue. But at least we have a little bit of depth there, a little bit of real-life talent that's involved with the club that we can look to bring in and further strengthen. But let's get stuck into the game. That's what I want to get through. All right, looking at Tottenham's team, they've got a couple of players here with face packs, which probably means they're the stars of the side. Whiteman in goal, Sirkin at left back, Hines at right back, Binks and Walcott as the central defensive partnership, White and Maghoma as the holding midfielders, Patterson on the left, Bennett on the right, Cooper in the hole, and Asante up top. Very similar structure to ours. It looks like they're actually using defensive midfielders. We're just using centre midfielders with defend instructions. But I like the way these face packs look. It was worth the effort. Look at Marcus Stamp, cheeky little bugger. Alright, team talk. I'm just going to go assertively. And I'm just going to say, this is your chance to impress me and win yourself a place in the side for competitive matches. Good few people have responded well. I'm going to tell the defence also assertively, show me why you should be in this team. And they all look to have gained confidence and look pretty happy, which is good. Alright, we've got the 3D engine coming out here. We're not going to stay on 3D. I am going to change that up. So we're going to go to 2D Classic. We're going to go a little bit quicker as well. And we're going to go for the behind goal camera in 3D for our replays of just goals. Hopefully that should be enough to get us through. But here we go, last pre-season friendly. We've had an unbeaten record thus far, all wins. I'd love to see it continue, but obviously Tottenham, even in their under-18 structure, is a massive step up from anyone that we've played at the moment. Now, one of the long-running themes of my series, both the Football's Coming Home Challenge with Bournemouth and our Rebuilding the Burger Save with Hamburg, is conceding in the opening 15 minutes. It doesn't look like we're doing too badly at the moment. Though, having said that, they do now immediately have a highlight. Cooper to Makoma. It's a ball forward, cut out well by Marcus Stamp. It's a long ball over the top. Brown might get him behind if he can find the finish. Oh, it's a decent save from the keeper. Came out well. Whiteside, was that what the keeper's name is? I've already forgotten. Williams to take the corner now. It's a deep ball across. There's a couple of people challenging, but Hines heads away. Comes back out to Brown, who really should be in the box. Might have to change our corner routines just a little bit. Just the personnel. Oh, it's a long clearance. Look like Asante might be in behind, but it's the end of the highlight. Jack Harrison's picked up a yellow card now. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Alright, we've gotten out of the first 10 minutes without conceding, which is good to see. Can we get out of the first 15? Alright, and we have, though they have had more shots, we've both had one on target. More fouls to us, which I guess is to be expected, given the standard we're playing against. And we have had less possession, but we are set up to counter-attack, so I think it plays into it a little bit. We have had the only highlight of the game thus far, and I think that's always an important stat that you never see written down here. Alright, here we go, another highlight. Singano to take the throw on the right to Adams. Just needs to go back to Singano again. He's playing himself in towards trouble. It's a cross-field switch, clearance, which you'd never do. White into Cooper. Comes out to Hines, back into White, to Bennett, to Makoma, to Bennett again, finds White at the top of the box. It's a strike from distance. Cade Watts gets it away, but it's Bennett who's the first to the rebound, and he puts that one home. I'm not sure if Andy Cade Watts could have held this one, but you can see here Makoma plays inside to Bennett. It's cut across to White. He takes time to line up the strike. Left foot, good diving save from Cade Watts, whose ethnicity has changed entirely within the game. And Bennett's on hand to slot that one home relatively easily. So Tottenham take a lead, 25th minute. And when you look at that stat line, it's hard to say that it hasn't been coming for a little while. Alright, throwing now for Tottenham. Walcott to take. Played to Cooper, but it's cut out well by Adams. Do we have a counter-attack on us here? It's a crossfield switch towards Taché and Richmond. He's managed to bring it under control and go back to Dan Brown. Can he find the finish? Oh, he blazes over from about 12 yards. But still, not bad. That was the sort of counter-attack I think we can expect to see throughout the course of the season. Tom Williams, for whatever reason, looks disinterested. And of course, Bennett moving to a 7.2 with his goal. He's the outstanding player on the pitch thus far. Alright, we're getting towards the last 5 minutes of the half, so I'm just going to shout and tell everyone to concentrate. And hopefully that tightens us up a little bit before half time, because I'd hate to concede another one. Oh, they're all overwhelmed, so that's gone horribly. Here we go. Williams lining up a free kick on the top of the 18-yard line, and it's not a bad effort. It was coming back. He did try and strike it on the keeper's side, which is an interesting strategy. There's 1 minute to be added on in the first half. And it looks like we've gotten through that now and into half-time. Alright, so dressing room. I might just passionately say, keep going out there. Your hard work will all be worth it at the end of the season. And they've responded alright. Maybe we might go through, try and boost a little bit of this morale, and might just tell them all that pressure's off. Pressure's off today. Or maybe I should have told them that you've been unlucky. It didn't work for Dan Brown, so oh well, whatever. We'll give it 15 more minutes. We'll treat this like it's a regular game, or regular season game, sorry, and just make our 3 subs around the hour mark, even though we can make more. I do want to kind of start getting a settled team through these matches. Tariq Hines has picked up a yellow card for the opposition, so that's something to keep an eye on. They've started making changes. They made 3 at half-time. We'll see if that disrupts the rhythm of their team any. Lee Hurst and Harry Anstey are both looking exhausted, so they'll likely come off. We might actually not stick to the 3 sub rule and make a good few just for the guys that are struggling for fitness and form. We've had 3 shots, 1 on target, leading the foul count with 13, 1 yellow card and 50-50 possession, which is interesting given that we're set up to counter. They've had 8 shots, 3 on target, 5 fouls, 1 yellow card and 50% possession as well. Phoenix Patterson, what a name. He's picked up a yellow card. They've made another raft of changes, and someone coming on, and Maurizio Pochettino, I wonder if that's his kid, which would be super interesting. Alright, let's pause it there. Let's go and have a look at what subs we can make. Alright, so I'm going to make all the changes. We'll bring on Jamie Jackson in goal. Jamil Akeem coming at right back. We'll move Singano into central defence. Ross Gleed can come on at left back. Aaron Couch at the right wing. Tasha and Richmond will go to the 10. Theo Baker on the left and Daniel Adji up top. We'll try and get 30 minutes in. We'll see if anyone can make themselves a hero. Maurizio Pochettino, however you want to pronounce it, to our shortlist because I just want to see a little bit more about him. And it could be an interesting one. Singano's picked up a yellow card, as has Ricky Evans now. They've had Sirkin pick one up as well. Just something to keep an eye on for the last 20 minutes or so. But it's been good. It's been a good pre-season. Even if we do lose this game, even if we concede a second one, like a loss to Tottenham's academy structure isn't the worst thing in the world, given where we're at in the footballing pyramid and the quality of players that we have available. Like now the subs are out there. There's a good few 2-star players that are on the pitch. They've changed their goalkeeper now. Brandon Austin's come on for Alfie Whiteman. So the only real key standout performers for them were Walcott, the centre-back, and Bennett, the goal scorer, with 6.9 and 7.2 respectively. On our end, it looks like Andy Cade-Watts had a decent game, a 6.8 before he came off, and Marcus Stamp currently sitting on a 6.8 as well. And having said that, Jamie Jackson's just gone to 6.82. So not bad. Our defence has done okay. Singano probably could have played a bit better. Lee Hurst hasn't had a great game and seems to be struggling for conditioning. That one's a bit of a concern now that Tekka's Guru is out for quite a while, so we may have to keep an eye on our central midfield partnership. We do also have Jack Harrison that can play there as well, so there are options. We're not stuck with a particular 11, thankfully, at this early in the season. We're into the last 5 minutes now. I might use one more shout if I have time to get it out in time and just demand more. We'll see if this one works a little bit more positively than the last one. A couple of players have responded well. They're focused. I'm not sure why Concentrate upset everybody last time out. Alright, we're into extra time now. 3 minutes to be added on, but it's already rocketing by. I don't think we're going to see another highlight. Oh, hang on, here we go. But I think this might just be the end of the game. Richmond with a flick-on header to Okadina. It's crossfield switch there. Baker's not going to get there. Hines with a long ball over the top, and thankfully Jamie Jackson comes out and holds the ball well. You'd say this might be the last play of the game. Statham with a decent header. Hurst knocks it down to Evans. Played forward but cut out by Marsh. Clark now on the left wing. Gets a ball across, and Singano reads it tremendously. Daniel Adji now on halfway. We've got a good few getting forward. We had a 4v4 there for a second, but the referee calls full time. Fair result. I think in the end, Tottenham deserved their win. A well-taken goal after a good save from Andy Cade-Watts. So, stat line in the end, shots 11-4 Tottenham's way. On target 4-1 Tottenham's way. Total fouls 20-12. 3 yellow cards apiece, 51% possession to #United, which in itself is pretty impressive, given the way that we're set up. Marcus Stamp finished with a 6.9, our best performer on the day. Brian Adams struggled a little bit, but they were also playing a 5-man midfield with 2 defensive midfielders anchoring for the side, so it was always going to be a little bit tough for him. And let's just assertively say, I can't fault your effort. Nobody expected us to win, but you gave it everything, and hopefully they respond well. They do. Everyone's responded really positively to that. Hopefully morale gets a little bit of a boost for that one. So, we have covered a tremendous amount in this first episode. While we didn't have an unbeaten preseason, to lose 1-0 to a Premier League like top 6 side and their academy and some of the players that they're having there, I'm still pretty happy with that. There's nothing to really be that upset about. But we have covered a tremendous amount. We've gone through the squad, we've gone through the different setups we've done in this database, all the different graphics and characters and whatever else that we've put in. We've gone through our tactic, which I'm pretty happy with the way that it's working. I'm sure we'll continue to tweak it and change it as the season wears on and we highlight some of what things that we struggle with. But still super excited. Still can't wait for the season games to get going. For those of you that haven't watched my series before, usually we just do like 2 games from each month in the season. So we'll probably come back and do the first 2 games of the season against Newbury Forest and Wivenhoe Town as our next episode. Kick off the season itself, see how we're travelling early days, and then we'll come back further down in September, then another episode in October, another episode in November, and so on until we get through the season. Just so that you're seeing a lot of the season, but you're not having to sit through every single game. But new series, a lot of work has gone into it on my behalf. A lot of work has gone into it from great key collaborators like the FM editor. like request a kit. We are going to have an introduction coming through soon from How Many Triangles, who's done some phenomenal work in other series like Dr. Benji's Thames series from last year and his new American series that's coming out in the next few days. More than anything though, thank you guys so much for watching. Please feel free to like the video if you want to celebrate the start of a new series. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on future episodes as they come out, or you can follow _FM on Twitter. As always though, I've been Sean. I'll see you guys in the mixer, and don't forget to hashtag it.